Hi there, this is Bethany Barnard and welcome to week 2 of 12 weeks to a Wow Christmas with Bethany and Lela. Last week I showed you how to make a countdown Christmas calendar, and if you missed that, please visit my YouTube channel. And if you subscribe, then you can be sure to catch every one of our projects between now and the week before Christmas. Tonight's project is going to be this beautiful table setting. It's going to include a place card, a napkin and silverware holder, and some after dinner mints. Now, I love this place setting. I think once a table is full of it, it's going to be beautiful. And the wow comes from what you see how we made this little pocket. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to move these out of the way, and I will just put this in the corner or the side, off to the side for you to see. And we will get started. So the wow, this is from an envelope of our Slimline envelopes, and we cut them in half, and that's how we make our pocket. Isn't that kind of a wow? I'm so excited about this. Actually, this was Lela's idea, and I just fell in love with it. So if you cut it at 4 3/8, that's pretty much half of the envelope. And so you'll get 2 halves that we're going to decorate. We're only going to decorate one at a time though, so because we're going to do the same thing to each one. I'm going to use this side. You're going to have to close this with the adhesive and close it. So I'm going to do this side for you now so that you can see how it's done without having to watch me wet that. This DSP is from the Lights Aglow. We used this on last week's project as well. It's just a beautiful DSP, and I don't know if you can see those beautiful gold accents that are in a scallop shape on this DSP that we're using today. And you need this cut at 3 5/8 by 4 1/8, and that will give you that usual border of 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And doesn't that look nice? Now what you want to make sure you do is cover up this seam and this flap, because once you put that over and we decorate that, you've got a clean side on the other side. So I just love this idea. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to show you some alternatives to it, but first we'll make this one. So I'm just putting my adhesive on the DSP. That's easy enough. Make sure that your scallop is going in the right direction for the opening at the top. Yep, okay. You don't want to put it on upside down. I think it would still look beautiful, but if you're thinking about it while you're putting it on, you might as well get it on right the first time. And then straight would be nice too, Bethany. And there we go. All right. Now from there, we're gonna put a scallop across the top to kind of mimic this gold scallop that's already in this paper. And I have used the Scalloped Contours dies, which has this scallop piece inside it as one of the dies. And I'm going to use that to go across the top here. Now, I like for it to be pretty even on either side. So I had this whole row and I picked the scallops right where I wanted them to be. And then I'm going to just cut up here. You could do this on a cutter if you don't trust yourself to cut that straight. I probably shouldn't trust myself to cut it straight, but I just kind of run the back of the scissors up against where the DSP paper is, and it seems to do all right for me when I do that. And then we're going to put that at the top. This gold and this soft succulent is just... it's just so elegant. Did a whole bunch of, no, somehow I got a little sequin here. I thought it was a big glob of glue somehow, some way. It's gonna be, because now I just picked up that sequin with it. Yeah, sequins and the backs of dimensionals. You find all those kinds of things all around my house. much to my husband's chagrin. Okay, so now we're gonna put this at the top. There we go. And then we've got that beautiful scallop that mimics this scallop. Now also in the Scalloped Contours dies is this little rectangular scalloped die, and I am going to use it to write the name of another guest. I have my husband Philip here. I have Travis, Jonathan. I guess I could go with, we will have Millie here. So I'm going to do Millie. And then on top of that, I am using this stamp set, Merriest Moments. That's where I got this Together is the Merriest Place to Be, which just seems perfect for a Christmas dinner table with your family. Together is the merriest place to be. And I also have the dies to this set, and that's where I cut out this little poinsettia. And then we have these gold hollyberry leaves. That's all it is gold hollyberry leaves. But they come in two sizes, and I'm using the smaller of the two. And they're best, in my opinion, to adhere using a glue dot. So I'm just gonna put the glue dot on the back of this leaf. You can see the veins. I don't know if it's coming out on the video, but in person you can see these veins, so you know which direction these leaves go. And I just kind of use them to frame whatever name I have put on here. So I'm going to pick up another glue dot. I may come back and put some more gems on here. I think I will, if I remember to do that before the video is finished. And here, so that it kind of, the name is here, and then I'm going to put this poinsettia right there. And I do that by just putting a little bit of glue right in the center. You never want to do too much when you don't have a lot of space for the paper to catch it. So just going to get this glue flowing again. Here we go. So there's just a dot on each petal. And then I'm going to flip that over and put that on here. And then the beauty of that is I have these champagne rhinestones. And honestly, on top of this distressed gold paper, that's what I cut the scallops and this poinsettia from, these gems really look gold. So I'm going to put that right on there. I'm not sure how well that's showing up in the video, but it looks great here. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this onto the front of my silverware setting. And I need to leave room for that ribbon bow here. So I'm going to center it between these two sides and then give it about 1/2 inch at the bottom, knowing that I'm going to be putting the ribbon around the top there. And use my scallops to see how straight I'm getting that on. And that looks pretty good. And then finally, to wrap this around, I've used 20 inches of this gold shimmer ribbon. So I have 3 pieces cut for the 3 pieces we're doing. So I have 20 inches for the silverware, 16 inches for the place card, and then 8.5 inches for our chocolates. But this will all be on the PDF if you're interested in getting a copy of that PDF in order to repeat these projects. Just leave a comment that you're interested in those PDFs, and I will probably reply with some means to send me a message. So then we'll just tie this in a bow. This shimmer ribbon is so easy to use. It ties a nice flat bow fairly simply, and you can kind of mess with it and get it to look exactly how you want. Now I want to pull that up a little bit. There is another very pretty gold ribbon. This one's in our annual catalog. I actually think they both are in the annual catalog, but I could be wrong. But there's another one that's more of a sheer. I'm trying to remember what that would be called. What's that called? But it's got like a gold thread that goes through it, and that's equally pretty and equally easy to use. So those gold ribbons, you have lots of options for a really nice finished look. Now, so that finishes our napkin and cutlery holder. I did want to show you a couple of options that you could also do if you didn't want to do the gold ribbon. On this one, I added another scallop, a thinner scallop of the distressed gold paper. And I think that looks really nice too, if you can imagine that here. Secondly, instead of putting the name on the silverware, you could go ahead and do the "Together is the merriest place to be." Now I've gold embossed this, but you could stamp in the evening evergreen, which is a darker green, but in the same hues. That would work as well and look nice. I've written, I didn't show you that, but the marker that I wrote the names in is that evening evergreen, so you can see what a nice color that is. Also, you may see this is a little bit shorter. I cut off the bottom end because you have this other option of, if you cut off both the top and the bottom, you can have this go more like a belt than a pocket, and it still looks really nice. I'm going to pull this up a little bit for you to see. I kind of wrapped up my napkin a little bit there, but you can see how you can do it like a belt, and that's equally nice. But what occurred to me is that it may be possible from one envelope to actually get 3 bands. You wouldn't have quite as much room to play with and decorate, but you certainly could still put the scallop and a bow right underneath it and this place card and get 3 out of one envelope. I didn't mention, and I wish I had, so I'm going to show you now, on these Slimline envelopes, they come in the soft succulent, but also the smoky slate, and then the basic white, which I don't know if the light's showing you that that's basic white, but if you think about New Year's Eve or Thanksgiving or a bridal shower or something, you can really do these up so pretty for a place setting. And this was Leila's idea to use these envelopes for this project, and I just really loved it. So I hope you love it as much as I did. That's the wow in this, is using those envelopes for that pocket. Okay, the next thing we're doing is this little place card. And again, I'm just going to remind you, you could write the name here and put the greeting on the envelope. You can use your imagination of different ways that you could decorate these up and have them work for you. But they're just so pretty. And because they're step cards instead of straight up 3x3s, they just really pack a wow. So that's another wow. Okay, so what you need to make this is you're going to start with a 3x6 card, just like we normally do for a 3x3 card, but we're going to score it in different places. So I'm going to bring my scoreboard out here, and I'm hoping you can see this. And just as I did last week, I've already pre-scored it, hoping that that will help me to be able to see it while I share it with you. So if this was a full-size card, normally we score it 1 inch and 2 inches, but this is a mini one. So we're going to go at 1/2 inch, and here's our 1/2 inch mark. We don't want to go past that 1/2 inch mark, but what I do is I just do at a 1/2 inch, and I don't go as far as a 1/2 inch, because I don't need to really measure it if I do that, and just bring it out enough to where I know it's not all the way to 1/2 inch, but I know it's going to already fold in that manner. And then again at 3.5, you're going to repeat that same thing, and then flip it over and do it again. 1/2 inch, not quite as far as 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and then 3.5 inches. Again, not coming all the way to 1/2 inch. The last score mark that you need to make is going to be at the 3-inch mark, and you're not making it from the center. You're actually just going to do the middle. So you're just going to kind of straight follow that along, and then once you're past that 1/2 inch, and again, it doesn't have to be all the way, just enough for the paper to realize how you're gonna fold it. So I just did another score line in the middle. So that's how you would score it. And then with your trimmer, making sure that all your score marks, your 1/2 inch and 1 inch are at the top, you're gonna put this on your 1/2 inch line here, which is the same as putting your cardstock at 2.5 inches on the left-hand corner at 2.5 inches. And then you're gonna start at 1/2 inch, and then you're gonna cut all the way to 3.5. And then you're gonna flip it over. Again, put this left-hand corner at 2.5. This is a way to double check yourself. Ask me why I think you need to double check yourself. Because yes, I have scored this wrong in the past, and hopefully not this one. Not just scored, I mean cut. Okay, down to 3.5. So 1/2 inch down to 3.5, and just to make sure you've cut through both all the way, you run it back down again. So there we have it. Now, just as I showed you, I don't know if you can see this, but these lines don't go all the way to the end, but that's not going to matter. And these didn't ever go past the 1/2 inch mark. So to me, that's a quicker way of scoring that on a scoreboard. But now you're going to bend these in like a, I guess we do mountain valley. And then all the way back here's a mountain and a mountain. And that's how we get the step 3x3. Beautiful card, beautiful, perfect for a dinner setting. Okay, so now we're gonna take these pieces, which measure just under, because these are 1/2 inch wide, these were cut at just a little bit less than 1/2 inch wide, and they are 2¼ inches long. Now I'm going to open this all the way up, and I'm going to put the glue on. And then I'm going to check and make sure my scallops are going in the right direction. It really doesn't matter so much on such a thin piece as these, but if you think of it and can check it, you really want the scallop to still be the same direction as on your other projects. As I said, if you get that wrong, nobody will notice. It's, you know, we're looking at less than 1/2 inch piece, and just that gold still pops out. It is so neat to see. I hope you can see that, how pretty that gold is. All right, and then we're gonna take another scallop that I cut out with my scallop contours earlier. And I like to center, as I said, with this one too, about where I want to cut. And now you actually have this back side that you can cut right down and know that you're gonna get the entire amount. Does that make sense? So you just use these scissors right up against the end there, and then these here. and then we can just glue this on. And then we're going to do some gold embossing. But I'm just going to remind you that if you don't have the means to do some gold embossing or embossing at all, although, you know, embossing was what sold me on Stampin' Up 19 years ago. So now I'm going to just put this right at the top. There. Okay. And now I'm going to take, this is from the Stylish Shapes, and so it's a stitched square, and it ends up going perfectly right on here. So this is where I'm going to do Together is the Merriest Place to Be. And if you've never embossed before, I'm going to take you through that. Now in the mini catalog, July to December, they have this tray, and it comes with embossing buddy and some really nice tweezers and a brush and this pan that you can unscrew and brush your embossing powder back inside it. So let me take you through those steps. Each one of these steps are important. You definitely want to run your embossing buddy over your cardstock that you intend to emboss, because any kind of fingering that you may have done on it or any glue it's picked up anywhere else is going to stick to it. The powder will stick to it, and you really want only the gold embossing powder to adhere to this paper, because you want it to only, so this is like a glue, this is Versamark, and when I put my stamp in there, it puts like a little glue on the stamp, and then by doing that, the embossing powder is gonna adhere to it. So now, so I don't get my fingerprints on it anymore, I am gonna use these tweezers, which is the kind that once you let go, they still hold on to the paper. And then here is my gold embossing powder. And you'll see that when I run this down here, you see how that just only sticks to the Versamark. I'm going to put this aside. I'll clean that up later rather than take up this precious video time, but I do have my heat tool ready to go here. So I'm just going to get that heated up. And you can see it gets shiny. You want to make sure you haven't missed any part of it, because if you do miss, if some of it's not fully heated and embossed, and I think maybe I did miss a little bit on the B. Because what I was going to say is if you don't get it all, my lighting's not so good. It's left me because it's taken me so long to get this video done. Okay, so now it's all embossed. Now, had I not thoroughly made sure that every part of that had been heated, when I touched it, the powder would go away, and it's really hard to fix that if that happens. So now I'm going to put some glue on this. As I said, I may go back and put more gems on some of these things. I'm a bling girl, very much a bling girl. I don't like it too much. I don't like it overdone. I hope I don't anyway, but I definitely like bling. So I want this to go right in between these two sides, but kind of come right to the top of this. I don't know what you would call it, but it's where we're going to tie the ribbon. So that ribbon was my 16-inch piece here. And then I'm just going to put it in here and tie a bow. I want it to be a little more even than that. There we go. Unless I pulled the wrong side, but I don't think so. That looks good. As I said, this is easy ribbon. It's so flat. Do you ever put ribbon on a card and then it's so bulky, you're not sure if the post office is going to accept it? That has happened to me way more than once. So I really like these ribbons that give us a nice flat bow. Tie this up. And you can see that that 16 inches has given us more than enough for a nice bow. And of course I'm going to want my bow centered. So I'm going to just move it here and up the sides. Did I get it up there? I think it's caught on this edge. You know what I mean? Just the corner of it there. There we go. Okay. And now I can trim it. But how pretty is that? This bow, this gold ribbon is just gorgeous. And then here. And then we've done that little place card. I'm getting my family's dinner table ready here. Just doing these videos for you guys. All right, and then finally the very last piece that we have for our table setting are these after dinner mints. I think it's, was it Old Olive, not Old Olive, Olive Garden. Oh, only a demonstrator would call a restaurant Old Olive. Makes me laugh. Okay, so I should have a piece here. Yep, here it is. Okay, this is cut 1.5 by 3 inches. And what I do is I do put the flat pieces together. And then you could also do this with the Hershey Nugget, by the way. And the same dimensions should work for that as well. So I find the best way to measure this and get it folded is literally to just come around the sides and pinch at the edges. And then pinch again at the bottom edge, just like this. Just pinch along there. And then pinch along here. You don't want your chocolate to fall out, right? And pinch. Let's see. So once you've done all that pinching, you take the chocolates out and you kind of have these 4 lines. So what I do is I bend them up on those lines and I make sure that it's not over like this when I fold it. If I know these edges line up on either side, then I know I folded it straight. So let's see, I have this one. See, I want to pull that over a little bit and keep that straight. And then I have, kind of lost that. Oh, there it is. And then I thought I lost this one too, but I can see it in there. So it does, it's amazing how just that pinching will give you the right places for it. So once you've done that, you can fold this in. So like this was my first score line, this is my second. And then just put some glue along here and fold it flat, and it's gonna make that square that will go right over the chocolate. So here we go. I am a real fan, by the way, of the Tombow glue. I find it the best value for money, but I also feel like it is the strongest glue that we have Okay, so you see how that makes it a square? And now we're gonna just put these, and this should make it nice and tight fitting too. You don't want your chocolates falling out unless you're ready for them to fall out. And the thing is you can just push them through once you know, it says that 2 of these are a serving. I think Olive Garden used to give us 1 each. There we go. Once you get it in there at the right angle, then they fit in nicely, but they don't fall out. So you don't have to worry about that. And then finally, with 8.5 inches of ribbon, that should be enough to give you a nice bow. I just can't help but repeat how pretty this Lights Aglow Designer Series paper is with these beautiful gold accents in them. Now, this might be the hardest length for you to work with. I can do a pretty good job of holding on to my ribbon to do a bow. So if you feel like you want more, this is cut at 8.5. If you feel like you need more ribbon to be able to maneuver your bow, then you're going to want to cut yourself more. In fact, if you're making a video, you probably should, right? Which one of these is longer? Okay. I'm going to try that again. Bring this around. I don't know why I didn't give myself a little bit more than this. I almost want to reach in with those great tweezers that come with that embossing set. There we go. Okay, so it's looking pretty sad now, but you're gonna see that once I pull these out and start messing with it, it's really a cute little bow. And I might want to trim it. I would definitely say, since I'm pretty sure that this measured 8.5 inches to start with, you might want to give yourself another inch to play with if you don't want to be fussing with it the way I am now. But if you're you know, more of a frugal person who doesn't like to waste bow material, then maybe you want to try the 8.5 inches as well. Okay, so now I want to trim it. These aren't the best scissors for me to trim ribbon, but it's the only ones I have right here. So I'm going to go for it. And there you go. That's not too bad, right? And there you have it. We have the chocolates, the place cards, and then the cutlery and napkin holders, all here, and my table's almost going to be set. Thank you for watching the video. I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you order from me, and I'll be putting my website address in the, not the comments, but in the description. If you'd like to give me an order, that would be great. And I thank you for watching. Bye.